winning a national championship there. How much do you think that's helped him and this team get to where it is now, going to play in another national championship?
I think that helps, but even more so than that, Dabo had a very good high school coach in Billy Tohill. Billy Tohill had been the head coach at TCU at one time. And so he got a good background there. And then when he went to Alabama, he was there. And his first coach was Tommy Bowden. And then when I went in there, then he had two very good head coaches in Bill Curry and Gene Stallings. And y'all always heard the stories about him being an avid note taker. And I mean, I think those things really helped him, and he was able to go back and pull some of those things out. And even since he's been a head coach, I mean, he had the opportunity to work here under Tommy Bowden. And you can see some of Coach Stallings' things in him. You see some of Tommy Bowden's things in him from an organizational standpoint and all. And he's put together his own style. And that's what I like about him. I mean, he's taken some of those things, but he's put in a lot of his stuff too.
What's it like for you personally to have coached at Alabama, you won national championship there, now you're going against him?
Well, I mean, that's coaching. That's coaching. At some point in time, it's going to come to an end here. You hope it will not ever happen, but the biggest thing is during my career, I've been able to navigate, around the college scene. I've had opportunities to coach pro football, but that's not me. That's not what I ever wanted to do. And but it's good that most of my career has been in the South, in the Southeast, and that's a good thing about it. And having the opportunity to play against Alabama, here, while I was at Tennessee, played against them, Mississippi State played against them, South Carolina and all. So, it's just part of the profession, and at some point in time, if you're going to stay in it long enough, the coach is kind of like the military, you're going to move around quite a bit, and you're going to see things like this.
How would you compare being a part of this staff here versus being part of the staffs you were at Alabama?
Well, the biggest thing is difference in offensive philosophy. Because back then, some of the basic fundamental things, run the ball, stop the run, B plus and give away, take away ratio with turnovers and all that still come into play. But the philosophy that Dabo has here on offense is a little bit more wide open than what we had at Alabama. Because then, we were more tight end, two backs, two receivers. Here we got a lot of time, four receivers on the field with one back. Every now and then we'll complement a tight end in there and we'll make people defend the whole field. Where there, it's kind of like playing in a phone booth a lot of times. That's what I associated with. And things have changed. And when we came back here in 2008, some people questioned that. They questioned that because they said that wasn't the Clemson way. But it's still, with Clemson being able to, a good running football team at that time, back when I was here before and during Coach Ford's era, still has not stopped them from running the football. Because I think Wayne Gallman has had a very good year this year, and he's proven that you can run the football out of wide sets.
You've been around this program since the beginning when Dabo took over in 2008. How has he grown as a coach, and then how has this program changed over the last few years?
He's grown a lot. I see a lot of confidence in him, knowing what he wants to do. And, it's kind of like, when you're raising a kid, it's just like my son. The older he got, I start backing away a little bit, watching him and watching him grow. And that's been kind of the same way with Dabo. When I came over here in 2008, there were some things that he did through trial and error. Now he's had a lot of the trial, and there's not much error. And a lot of people question some things that he did then, and all, and didn't know if it would work. But we all see today that it does work.
You've been around really good head coach Gene Stallings, Philip Fulmer, Sylvester Croom. What makes Dabo different than these guys?
Well, our style back then when I came along and all those guys you just mentioned, you were the head coach and everybody else was kind of here.
Yeah.
Dabo was with us. But then when he sits at the end of the table, he's the head coach. and he can separate that pretty quick. And he walks the halls. He's around our players. He's in the locker room. He's around them out on the practice field. Back then, you had a lot of coaches coaching in the tower. That connection with the players was not there. And I think that's what makes him so dynamic. He's with the players. He's around them. They respect him, but he can let his hair down with them too.
Listen, a lot of coaches would say, well, don't give away so much of yourself to the player. Reveal so much. Why does it work for you?
I think it is. Today has changed. These kids today, they're a lot more informed. They know a lot more of what's going on today, and because they carry this around and they stay in touch. And he's that way too, and that's the way you got to recruit. Back when I came along, you was writing notes, writing letters, and you was on the phone with them. But today, with all the recruiting rules and everything that we have, you got to be more involved in social media and those kind of things, even though he does not allow it during the season. But at some point in time, he has to do it through our system here. So he's more engaged into that. And some people took the philosophy that, we go recruit. The guy want to come here, he comes. If you don't, forget it. But Dabo works at it. Our staff works at it. And I think that's why we've seen a lot of success with us on the recruiting front.